christened the Phantom. A shiny, loud, look-at-me rig that demands attention wherever it goes.
Everyone looks at the truck and thinks, oh, a nice highway truck. But it's rough. There's nothing flash about it.
With Sludge behind the wheel, it's proved its mettle many times.
It's done a hard job. It's done a million Ks of hardcore getting flogged and belted.
Oh, it's a little welty.
I probably never thought I'd belt it like I do, but to actually be able to prove that you can take a highway truck and beat things senseless, and it still comes home every trip, it's great.
Heavy floods have hit the rich farmland hard.
And this has been going on for 6, 8 months. I can't believe this water's still here. And it's like every time you go down there, you never know what you're in for because the roads are just underwater.
With farmers cut off for weeks at a time, Sludge and his 20-tonne tanker carrying 55,000 litres of fuel provide a vital lifeline, if they can make it through.
We're going through farmers' paddocks, you know, and they think, oh, yeah, you'll be right, you just duck down through this track. But, you know, 50,000 litres of fuel, 55,000 litres of fuel going down a farm track, it's a lot of weight on a track that's made for a Land Cruiser or a tractor.
A lot of weight. And Sludge's road train is about to get even longer and heavier. It's hauling a third trailer, carrying 18 tonnes of steel.
A mate of mine lost a shed down there last week. Builds big dome-style sheds. We're going to take some coils of sheet metal down there, and in return, they're going to cut all the domes up, and he's going to give me some to go over my containers here at home. So he gets a free load of metal down there and doesn't have to pay for the freight, and in return I get a big dome shelter to go across my 2 40-foot containers. It's helping my mate out, and I'm getting something I really need, but it's putting the pressure on us. But I'm getting a $10,000 shed for nothing, and he's getting his freight down there, so sometimes you just got to put up with it, really.
Already running 2 hours late, he gets a call that throws another spanner in the works.
So Stephen Lloyd is out.
The fuel delivery close to where he's dropping off the steel has been cancelled. Now he'll have to drive out of his way.
So now we're going to have to go all the way down to do the shed when I was actually going down there to do a farm. You call it character building is what they call it. I call it just trying to piss you off.
The extra weight could make his going tough on the waterlogged roads.
They're having a hell of a lot of trouble down here with roads. You know, they don't build roads like they used to anymore. The roads are just falling apart, and we're coming up to our busiest time of the year, which just turns the whole lot to a bloody schmozzle. They're talking more rain down here today, so I'm hoping we're not going to get a wet ass. So I want to get out before it rains, especially with this load.
Up ahead, his first dirt road.
Hopefully it's open, but if it's closed, we've got probably a 30k round trip to get around the other way. No, it's bloody closed. Look at that. Wow, we won't be going down that road this year, I'd say.
Closed roads have forced tanker driver Sludge onto a detour that's thrown his plans into chaos.
I don't want to end up bloody stuck down here.
He still hasn't made his first delivery, and the third trailer loaded with 18 tonnes of rolled steel is making the drama worse.
I don't want all the coils covered in mud, so we'll just drop it off here. And I have to come back and pick it up, so that's going to be another hour bloody wasted. Oh. No, this should have been a nice, easy trip. You're doing something to make life easy, and it just turns to shit again, bites you in the ass.
Sludge's GPS doesn't tell him what roads are flooded or the best route around them, so it's map time.
17 k's back. 17 k's is a long way.
Sludge will have to come back later for his trailer.
Oi, my little trailer.
Right now, his priority is his customers.
Well, I haven't really got any time to waste. Oh, looks like we got another road closure.
The road's closed, but Sludge is in a hurry, so he's rolling the dice.
Like the road's closed.
Maybe he can get through.
Let's hope we don't have to do a U-turn up here and go back out the other way. You can see the velocity of the water's come through and just cut half the road away. So there's a lot of rain to come down to do something like that. We're all right up here on top of it, but if we get down into the waters and the hollows down here, the road surface will be soft because we are 50, 70, 80 odd tonne. So if we break through, we just disappear.
Sludge might be in luck. The road in front is dry and good. It looks like his gamble has paid off. Until this.
That is the end of that.
He gambled this road would be open and found a river running through it.
Oh well, it's called time management shot up the arse.
And when you're a 25-metre long B-double, reversing out of trouble is a truckload of work.
I love U-turns like a hole in the head. So at least I can turn around here. I don't have to back 10 kilometres. That's what you call a classic waste of 30 kilometres.
It's a serious setback. 2 roads tried, 2 roads closed. Sludge should have made 3 of his 6 deliveries by now.
The pressure's on to supply them and get it in there.
He hasn't made any.
If we don't get the fuel in, the crops will be ready to go, and then they've got no fuel, so they can't run the machines.
And he'll lose more time reattaching the trailer with the steel coils he just parked up.
I was hoping to see this trailer in about 2 or 3 hours' time, not in about 2 or 3 minutes' time. You win some, you lose some. You just lost one. Every time I have to hook and unhook this today is going to piss me off, but then I'm just going to have to remember that it's for me. I'm doing this for a new shed.
He'll have to take the troublesome third trailer with him while he finds a way through to his next stop.
I love getting bogged. It just excites me to death. Here we go again. Let's have another go at this. Yeah, we've got no road closed on this. This is the start, but pretty much this is the last option. There is no other road. The last time I was down this road, it was underwater down here as well.
No water this time. His first break on a trip that's been threatening to fall apart.
It's only 2 hours later, and we've made our first drop. So it's a waste of 2 hours. So 2 hours tonight gone. The joy of being a truck driver.
Sludge still has 5 deliveries to go.
Scotty Lawrence, 4,000 litres and some ULP.
But the water is not finished with him yet.
You go right through that mud.
Another bog hole. It could be nothing, or it could ruin his day. Sludge has lost enough time. He's going through.
If it's like that, I tend to normally zoom through a little bit. I just don't like getting everything wet and dirty. I don't have to.
He's well behind schedule, racing to deliver fuel to farms in time for the harvest.
It's a hard time of the year, you know, like you push yourself to the limit all the time. Today we've got 6 drops, so we'll stop, we'll start, we'll bloody run around. We've got petrol as well today, so 6 drops is not just 6 of diesel, we've got 3 or 4 drops of petrol. So you've got to change your pumping gear to the other one, so it all takes time.
Putting extra pressure on his schedule is the favour he's doing for a friend.
We're going to head down towards Esperance, drop this off to me mate. They're going to unload it for us and reload it, and I'll go out and do some more fuel deliveries.
At the mate's place, Sludge is finally able to rid himself of those heavy steel rolls. At last, he has an empty trailer.
Next time we see this, it'll have my new shed on it.
But there's still 1 fuel delivery to go. Sludge is way behind and needs to get it done in a hurry. But once again, the weather is threatening to stop him.
Got a big storm going through out there. There's more weather coming in, so I don't want to be stuck on this bloody road when it gets wet because it just turns to an ice skating rink.
There's bitumen a few kilometres ahead, and it can't come soon enough.
We've only got a few k's left. You get off this road, it's starting to get a bit slippery. Very stunning bit of bitumen this. It's only one lane, but it's better than the muddy shit we were just on. At least it's not slippery. Now we're just about out on the last farm in captivity, really. There's only probably one more farm beside them and then start heading out onto the Nullarbor.
Last fuel drop completed. Sludge has only one job left. Pick up his trailer and the free shed that's caused him all the grief, if it's ready. And it looks like it is, loaded and set for the journey home.
Here she goes. She's on a good backer. Take that, Yogi.
But before he goes, one favour deserves another.
Just got to fill this larrikin's truck up with fuel and then I'm done. So everyone's happy. Chris has got his stuff down there. I've got my free shed. How more happy could you be?
Finally, he can head back to Perth, in the remote heart of Australia. One man leads a crusade to keep the outback clean. The king of scrap, Russell McDonough.
We're quite passionate about recycling things.
When he's not crushing cars for $1, Russell's road train is a lifeline for isolated settlements.
Where we're off to is a place called Kenworth. It's on the West Australian border. We're taking out 2 shipping containers that have been modified. They're self-contained with their own bathroom, kitchen, bedroom.
The brand new container homes are vital infrastructure for a community of less than 500 people. This trip is a baptism of fire for Russell's new rig.
It caught my eye when I saw it was up for sale and just couldn't help myself, I just had to grab it.
He's just forked out big bucks for a second-hand truck.
It's had a full refurbish only a few years ago.
Especially modified for the Outback, with 6 fuel tanks and 600 horsepower.
It's a lot shinier, it's had fresh paint, bigger in the sleeper compartment and horsepower.
This trip will push his new truck to its limits.
We are going to have 3 trailers. We're going to be out on some dirt roads, pushing through some sand.
Builder Paul Beale has transformed the 2 shipping containers into living quarters.
The customer wants them out there in the same condition as they leave here.
The sturdy new homes hide a fragile interior.
The design system here is for a house, not designed to travel down the road. You can transport them, but you can transport them nicely and get them there in the same condition.
Russell's first challenge is loading the 5.5-tonne portable homes safely onto the trailers.
This is the crane we're going to use to do the whole job. It fits up on one of my trailers nicely. It's not beyond the capability of this crane, but it's on sort of the limit.
It's a delicate operation. If Russell and Paul miscalculate, the 16-tonne crane can topple and a $70,000 portable home could be destroyed.
She lifted off. 5'7" on the hook now.
But strong winds are making the crane unstable.
Hey, look out, it's tipping up.
The crew are struggling with the swinging container.
Got one of these ropes hooked up down the other end here.
Paul takes over the crane.
Well, now I've just got to bring this truck in and we'll settle it down.
And Russell slides his truck underneath the precarious 5.5-tonne load. It's a precision manoeuvre that needs millimetre accuracy.
Beautiful, love it.
Russell prepares his rig for over 500 k's of rugged desert roads.
So we start putting the whole road train together piece by piece.
With 2 containers and a loading crane, the road train will stretch to 52 metres. That's longer than an Olympic pool. It's a heavy-duty load for Russell's maiden voyage in the new truck.
A little bit hilly, a little bit windy, so we just broke along, get a feel for it. We had a couple of air leaks when we initially got it. I'm just sort of monitoring the water temperature and oil pressure, and the further into this trip we get, the harder the going will be. There's corrugations, there's washouts, there's a whole range of changing conditions on the dirt. It'll be a test for any truck.
The first challenge for Russell's new wheels is unpredictable. In the outback, fences are rare and cattle roam free.
A bit dark in colour, those cattle. If it gets any later, it makes them really hard to see.
The last thing Russell wants is a head-on collision with a half-ton of beef.
It can end in tears. That one there.
The turn off to the town signals the start of truck busting dirt. But the Outback delivers a deceptively easy ride.
I'm driving along here, I'm only sitting on 80, but it's like riding in a motor car. It's incredibly smooth, this stretch. I'm just waiting for some pothole, wash away or something to jump out and grab me. These containers have a lot of appliances that you find in a normal house. Because we don't want to hit anything and break the contents or actually make the containers flex too much. Basically driving by me bum. If I can feel it bouncing, I slow down. If it sort of gets really smooth, well, I'll speed up a little bit.
Russell soon discovers why the ride is so good.
Okay, mate. Do you want me to jump on the other side?
No, you won't found you.
A grader crew have been hard at work.
Sorry, mate. Thank you. There's a bit of an old saying, if it seems too good to be true, it usually is.
It doesn't take long for Russell to find the end of the graded track.
Incredible, the closer we get, the worse it's getting. We're down to 30 kilometres per hour now.
The rough road strikes, busting open a door on the side of his new truck.
Just noticed that my little toolbox doors popped open. They don't look good. I just lost my jack. The jack sort of sits in here. These doors come open on the corrugation.
Russell is in big trouble. Without a jack, blowing a tyre could leave him stranded.
I don't like travelling out here without a jack. It makes it pretty hard to change the tyres.
Bringing up the rear, Paul the builder finds a needle in the haystack.
Yeah, mate.
Did you lose something?
I am actually missing the jack.
Rescuing the lost jack from the side of the road.
Yours, would it?
That would be it. That would be really, really handy if I get a flat tyre.
Yeah, they generally help out a bit.
I think today is a day if I find a shop where I can buy a lotto ticket, I should.
After 500 punishing kilometres, Russell and his new truck finally make it to the tiny community of Kenworth. But as they prepare the crane to unload the containers, the horizon brings new danger.
too good.
I think it might rain.
Lightning kills around 10 people each year in Australia. Working heavy machinery outside during an electrical storm increases the risk of being hit. The pressure is on Russell to thread his truck through this narrow gate before the heavens open up.
I can't see over that side because it's blind. All I need is somebody just to tell me I'm going to hit the fence, right? I can't get myself straight because directly in front of this gateway is a signpost, right? So I've got to come in at an angle. Yeah, over there it's just completely blind to me.
Russell makes it in safely. But he needs to unload quickly before the weather turns the crane into a potentially deadly lightning conductor.
The rains and lightning will have to stop this whole process.
But there's a problem.
No, it's gone the other way now. No, got it wrong.
The weight on the crane is unbalanced. In desperation, they attempt to straighten the sling.
Remember this one was heavy at that end. I reckon boom just a little bit.
As wind increases the danger, they try one last time.
Yeah, it'll be right. Like we'll sort of get an idea which way it swings. Keep it like that. Should be right. Go down. Or down now. Yeah. It's down. If everybody's happy, I think we'll leave it here.
Russell has beaten the storm, and inside, the portable homes are still in perfect condition. Outback trucker Yogi Kendall is collecting a fragile and valuable cargo.
So that's our little adventure sitting there.
3 vintage tractors and a motorbike from his home base in Western Australia.
Motorbikes are designed to be ridden, not bloody transported.
These 2 1920 Hart-Par tractors are just short of a century old. Adding to Yogi's ancient load is this 1950 Lanza Bulldog.
This one's only about 70 years old. Young one.
All 3 of these antique gems are heading to Victoria for a makeover to restore them to their former glory.
Isn't that good? Little one? How are ya? Oh, yes, very important. Love you.
Love you.
Yogi's life on the road brings long spells apart from his kids.
I regret missing the kids growing up. That plays in my mind a bit.
All right, see you later. All right, I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
And his wife of 15 years, Amanda.
I feel like I don't see enough of the kids and the family, and what do you do?
This job will keep Yogi away for 2 weeks. The antique tractors he's hauling are not an easy load. They've got no brakes or rubber tyres to help roll them straight onto his trailer.
Yeah, these are 100-year-old ones, these ones.
Yogi's borrowed a heavy-duty crane from a farm equipment sales yard. But only until it opens for business at 7 a.m. He needs to load quickly.
And we're burning favours by using their yard. They start at 7, I don't want to upset them. Rightio, bud, in you go. Just come down a bit.
His plan is to position the front wheels of the first tractor on the upper deck and its back wheels on the lower deck.
First plan didn't work for the day.
But with time ticking down, Yogi's having second thoughts.
It's not going to work. It's just not going to sit nicely. I've got to make half a metre somewhere. Plan A didn't do the job. So we'll go to plan B. Sit him down there.
By removing the ramp, he adds a little more length to the lower deck.
Yeah, boy. The Eagle has landed. Well, the Bulldog has landed. These ones here probably longer at the back.
With time running out before he loses the borrowed crane, Yogi needs to get the last tractor loaded fast.
Yep, that'll do. Come down.
It's going to be tight, if it fits at all.
Right here, Matty. Yeah, go on. Yeah. Nice one.
There's just millimetres to spare.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you, boys. 10:40 a.m.
The first leg of the journey is no time to relax as Yogi's load of vintage collectibles settle into position.
I work to a standard, no damage.
Do something wrong with these tractors, I can't replace these tractors.
I've got to pay attention all the time. Can't see that bike, which is a bit of a pain. But I'm just going to pull up here and have a little bit of a look around.
On inspection, the bike's fine. But it's lucky Yogi stopped to check.
Oh yeah, we got our first casualty. That rod wasn't sitting on that chain. So that rod has come off. These big suckers here, they're never designed to be transported, that's one thing for sure. This is sacrilege on an old machine, but I ought to put a cable tie on a 1920s tractor. Rightio.
With the load settled and secure, Yogi's back on the road.
I'm actually a little bit excited that it's good. It's just sitting there very nicely, so I can settle down into the groove here and just kind of start appreciating the Ks and the days now, you know.
As the light begins to fade, Yogi completes close to 500 kilometres of the journey.
Right, that's me.
He's looking forward to a well-earned sleep when he gets an alarming text message from the vendor of the motorbike.
The money hasn't been transferred for the bike, so the bike hasn't actually been paid for by the new owner.
The new owner is covering the cost of freight. If he reneges, Yogi could be out of pocket to the tune of $500. He tries to track down the vendor for advice.
Nothing, no answer either.
If the bike's not paid for and old mate can't come up with the money in Melbourne, well, it has to go back to WA.
For Yogi, no delivery means no paycheck for his family.
Not my problem, but it's become my problem.
With the pressures of the trucking life piling on, the loneliness of the road begins to get to Yogi.
2 weeks away from the kids and the family. I feel like I don't see enough of them. I see myself getting out of trucks. Yeah, you could give it all up in a heartbeat. Love you.
I love you.
Two days on the road, and 2,700 kilometres later, Yogi crosses the state line into Victoria.
Coming to civilisation means we've got towns and people and authorities. You got to pay just a little bit more attention.
Soon the open road gives way to urban sprawl. Yogi's least favourite part of the drive.
Could you get any quicker on the lights? Welcome to Victoria. Oh, traffic is just brutal. Come on, 1 for 1. That's how we get the job done.
And it's not just the other drivers who grind his gears.
Buddy, like I'm all for, right, the bike riders, right? I've got to give them a metre. Yet when I'm sitting in traffic, they come up a metre under me. That annoys me.
Eventually, Yogi clears the traffic and starts eating up the final Ks to the drop-off.
We're off. Back out on the open road. Everything is going nicely. Yeah, you normally jinx yourself when you say everything's going really well.
While Yogi waits to hear about the fate of the motorbike, he's ready to unload the vintage tractors, still fully intact after the long drive.
And we're about to unload. Back it in there.
The tractors are heavy, awkward,
So don't let them roll over once you go over that.
and irreplaceable.
Just come him up a bit. Yeah. Whoa. Whoa. Good job, boys. Yeah, come off really well. I reckon that was the heaviest. Just takes that bounce out of it. Just watch that swing. He's off.
Yeah, one more of them, we're off.
Just the small one to go.
This will be the easiest.
There you go.
It's a win on the tractors.
Jeez, and it's all over as easy as that.
Just as Yogi is leaving, he gets a text from the vendor of the motorbike.
Payment received in my account. Oh. That means the bike is good to deliver. Well, there's one little battle I don't have to fight.
It's a result that means the long trip has been financially fruitful.
We made it.
The next day, Yogi's back on the road.
Happy days, happy days.
He's missing his family, but he can't head home just yet. Yogi's been asked to present a Trucking Legends Award at the Haywood Truck and Ute Show.
Feel really good about being here and, you know, being part of this show.
And he's got a speech to memorise.
It's like homework, you leave it till the last minute. You know, these people are legends in the industry, and I don't want to balls it up. I've got to have the right words coming out my head. Oh, hello. Hi. Oh, loud. Hi. Lovely day for it. Country shows are great. It's really, really mad.
Yogi leaves the sanctuary of his truck and nervously takes to the podium.
The industry, you do a lot, you spend a lot of time away and you make a lot of sacrifices and a lot goes unsung. We just do it because we love the job.
His heartfelt words go down well with the crowd.
Good job, mate, well done. The emotions in the room are pretty full on, it's great. Thank you.
In Melbourne, the ultimate dirt trucks have come to town. Supercharged, methanol injected, 1,500 horsepower. This is Monster Jam. Triple world champion Adam Anderson and his truck, Gravedigger, are legends of the sport. Adam's formula for success? Never say die, even if your ride is falling apart. Truck driver Richard Jackson, or Jacko, is here to check out his next load.
God, they're doing some damage.
Tomorrow, Jacko's taking Gravedigger and Adam to the next big show.
Got to move Gravedigger through to Sydney, and Adam's coming on board in the truck with me.
We had a great night. We won some racing. We trashed the truck. Now I get to experience some Aussie trucking and heading up to Sydney to the next Monster Jam.
Adam and Jacko are part of the massive Monster Jam World Tour. In the last 12 months, it's played to 4 million fans.
Monster Jam rocks!
In 350 shows across 135 cities.
Gravediggers aren't destroyed. We got a lot of work to do. My biggest fear within Monster Jam is that Gravedigger's not going to make it.
Moving day, and the work needed on Gravedigger couldn't be clearer. While the other Monster Jam trucks still look like Monster Jam trucks, Gravedigger is just bare bones. First job for the pit crew, ready it for the road. Head mechanic Bobby Powers gets Gravedigger down to a more manageable size.
So we call this a transport tire. We put these on because these tires are just too big to fit in the container.
They drop the suspension down and pin it, which they've already done.
It may not look it, but Gravedigger's engine, steering and suspension are state of the art.
Then the truck will go in, lucky to have probably 100 mil each side. They'll strap it all down, it'll be good to go.
Loaded and locked. This beast of a truck is now Jacko's responsibility.
All right, let's put her on.
You got to put a brand new body on it, so it'll probably get ripped off again. And with the body off, it's almost scary. It's because you can see so good. You feel like when you jump in the air and you can see the ground way down there and you're like, oh man, you know it's coming and it's not gonna feel good. But it doesn't matter where you are in the world, the people love some carnage.
Adam's anxious to get to Sydney to start the repair job. But after 4 hours, they're still less than halfway.
Man, already 2 o'clock and we're not even barely there.
Just about to go to Victoria into New South Wales, so at least we'll be in the right state. How did you start out driving monster trucks?
I grew up in it. My father, he created Gravedigger in 1982. And my dad doing what he did, it just seemed like a normal job to me.
After 10 hours on the road, Adam and Jacko are approaching the bright lights of Sydney.
This is it, mate.
We made it.
We made it.
It was a long night of driving. Finally got the truck here. There's a lot of work to be done. The crew's chomping at the bit to get it out. We're getting ready to swing these doors open and see what the truck's looking like and see how much work we have left. All right. The moment of truth, Jacko. Jacko, what'd you do to it?
Oh, mate, perfect.
Gravedigger is in the same condition as when it left. A mess. The show is on tonight, and 50,000 fans are expecting to see the green machine. Head foreman Dan Evans is facing a huge challenge.
It's a disaster. So right now we're looking at quite a bit of chassis damage, which means we're gonna have to do some welding. There is no body on it. That is completely trashed, so we'll be assembling a brand new Gravedigger body for it right here on site. That truck has to be in #1 condition.
They just have to go through, check all the nuts and bolts. You know, we have our sway bar is out of adjustment here, and so they'll look at that and potentially change it. You can readjust it, but it might not be worth the risk because it may break in the middle of the show.
Before they put the truck back together, they need to fix the tyres.
They're 830 pounds, so it takes 2 people to get them to lay down and pick them up.
And this tyre needs special attention.
Well, last week Adam blew out 2 tires. This was our last spare, and it was made to go on the left side of the truck.
To put it on the right side, they need to remove the tyre from the hub, then put it back on with the tread pattern facing the correct way. But muscle alone isn't budging it. If they can't fix this, Adam will have to drive with his tyre tread facing the wrong way. A massive handicap.
Because without getting it done, this truck's not gonna perform.
Dan calls in a bucket load of grunt. The loader gives the stiff rubber all she's got. But this monster jam tyre is monster jammed. There are no other spares. For driver Adam to have a chance at winning tonight, his tyre tread needs to be facing the right way.
If we keep doing that, it's gonna rip the bead.
The Gravedigger crew ask for help from a competing team.
We've hit every side. Yeah, we all 4 points on that thing. We about ripped the bead off this thing and pushed it down.
Get some penetrating oil, let's get some slick on it.
Now,
See ya.
Thank you. Bye.
Finally, the pit crew can get to work.
You know, we're coming down to the wire right now. This truck has to be ready tonight.
It's showtime. 50,000 spectators are filling the stands. Adam is ready to race. His truck, however, isn't firing on all 8 cylinders.
Give us like 5-7 minutes.
Gravedigger has a spark plug problem. If it can't be fixed in a matter of minutes, the show will start without them. Success. Time to race.
It's amazing Gravediggers here, considering the way it finished in Melbourne.
First test, the time trials. It's a solid performance for Adam, but it's the freestyle that everyone's come to see. Adam and Gravedigger are up.
Gave it a crack. I reckon if he would have kept her on the mat, he would have pulled it off, I reckon.
They haven't won, but for Adam, Jacko and the team, just getting here has been a monster effort. It's 5:30 a.m. on a cold winter morning in Perth, Western Australia. Legendary Outback trucker Steve Graham is getting ready for yet another perilous journey.
Oh, we're heading out into the desert. I'd just like to have a little bit of backup. You break a water tank or something, it's good to have some backup. 1,200 kilometres of dirt, you break down, the radiator on the truck wants 60 litres, I want 60 and the dog wants a drink.
Steve's heading out on a marathon 3,500 kilometre journey, like driving from London to Cairo. Steve's been driving trucks for 40 years. For the last 10, he's had a companion in the cab, Boots the dog. Now, after millions of kilometres together, old Boots has reached the end of the road.
She can't get up into the truck. She's retired, and this is her pup, Teeny. Teeny's her child, and Teeny's taken over from Mum. Get up.
Teeny may be hitching a lift, but she's no joyrider. It's her job to keep Steve safe from whatever dangers the Outback can throw at him.
All the gear's good, all the gear's been serviced, but there's a lot of dirt road in front of us and a lot of corrugations. If there's something that's weak or wants to break, they'll bring it undone. Things will come undone.
With a second trailer hooked up, Steve officially becomes a road train. And if there's one thing road trains love, it's fuel. Lots of it.
So we'll be putting in about, $1,600, $800 or $900 aside. And we'll chew that up today. I've got to be really quick because we've got these super-sized loads
over there waiting to get through to Bindi Benny, so I've just got to check my load quickly and get moving. You give me 5 minutes?
He's desperate to stay in front of two slow-moving dump trucks. But there's another problem coming up from behind. Two more massive wide loads have passed him. And before Steve can pull out, the dump trucks also hit the road.
Ah, for f***'s sake.
In this business, losing time means losing money. Steve needs to get by the rolling roadblocks.
Just got to focus on what's going on here. I'm in the hands now of a traffic warden up there.
He's in luck. The monster trucks pull over to let traffic by.
Dealing with all these wide loads is putting me way back. It's half a day. It's what it's costing me.
Steve needs to put distance between him and the wide loads before his next stop, to pick up a third trailer. If he doesn't, he'll be back to square one. He must get back on the road as quickly as he can.
I can't muck around. I've got to just keep attacking all of the time. Now we're a 53.5 metre triple.
But as Steve's getting ready to go, the wide boys are back. He'll have to pass them all over again. Now with 3 trailers, Steve's rig is as heavy as a 737 jet and longer than an Olympic-sized swimming pool. To overtake, he'll need to travel at up to 100 kilometres an hour for 1 minute on the wrong side of the road.
Righto, I'm on you now. Is everyone good to go?
It's critical he has clear communication with the other driver.
The person that I listen to the most, the voice of the other truckie, I will put my life in his hands rather than the other people. Thanks, mate.
1 down, 1 to go.
Are you calling the triple between the tyres and the machine?
There's a problem.
Too much radio chatter.
Steve can't hear the driver.
I'm getting a bit of chatter coming over the top from other supersized loads around.
He must wait until he knows he's talking to the right truck. It's a life or death decision.
Righto, mate, I'm into it.
There's barely enough room for 2 cars. Steve needs to hold his nerve and stay on the road. After almost trading paint with an oversized dump truck,
The old heart ticks away a bit there while you're doing it.
Steve Graham has reached the Great Central Road. 1,200 kilometres of hard-driving dirt highway. It's a serious challenge for any vehicle and driver brave enough to take it on. The biggest hazard are corrugations, regular bumps in the road caused by traffic. They may look smooth from a distance, but get up close and they're a real truck killer.
Do you hate them? Yes. Will you still hate them when you retire, Steve? Yes. Corrugations are the bane of my life. I hate them because they wear me out, sitting there bouncing me around, knocking me to bits. I don't like corrugations. And they knock the freight around and they make me go slower, and I've got to stop and fix things all the time. I haven't got a lot of good to say about corrugations. Righto, we'll go.
To protect his truck and the freight, Steve needs to reduce the impact.
Either get up to a moderate speed where you're skating across the top of them without doing too much damage, or down the first gear, the really, really big ones, and just put up with them. Just spend all day just climbing up and down them, basically. Teeny doesn't like them much either, do you, Teeny?
Get it wrong, and he could be joining an Outback graveyard.
There's a lot of dead ones on the side of the road. Oh, look, there's another one that didn't make it. Another one that didn't make it.
But it's not just corrugations that can cause him trouble. There are more than 1 million wild camels in the outback, and an adult bull can weigh in at more than 700 kilos.
You sort of don't get much warning, and they will do some damage to the bloody truck if you hit them. Once one came out and he sort of propped and went back, but his head was far enough out, it smashed the air cleaner off the side of the truck and he spun around. And the poor old fellow was in a bit of a bad way. I had to shoot that bloke. He had a broken jaw and he wasn't good.
Suddenly, out of the scrub, several of his 62 tyres are leaking and need to be pumped up. And he's got another problem. Strong winds combined with 40 tonnes of high-sided freight means Steve's been burning more diesel than usual.
I'm concerned about my fuel, which is a bloody nuisance because if I can't get to Curtin Springs, I have to break this road train up and go into Yalara and fuel up. There's not much bloody fuel in there. It's only just enough to get me into 35 k's will do it.
To make matters worse, his tyres aren't inflating. There's something wrong with the truck's air pressure system. The fault's in a valve that controls the cab suspension.
Ah, for f***'s sake.
After 3 hard days, it's the last straw.
I'm pissed off because I had to grovel under there twice in the dark last night. That's why I'm pumping my tyres up the light, because the ride height valve's not working properly and it's dumping all the air, and it's taking me a long time to pump up my tyres because the air's going out of that new valve and I can't reach under here and adjust the bloody thing. As I should be able to shift that ride and make the f***ing cab go up at the ride level and shut the air off, but it's not. It's dumping out to atmosphere underneath the truck instead of going into my tyres. And it's annoying me. And once again, it's time bleeding away from me. I should be 40 kilometres down the road now and fueled up, and I'm wasting time here doing this.
The fault's affecting nearly every part of his truck.
Air brakes, air gear shift, air assisted, lots of things.
Steve Graham has finally got enough air in his tyres and is limping into town. He needs fuel fast.
It's nearly on empty.
And his engine is starting to protest. Finally, he's made it, but this stop is going to be painful.
$2.11 a litre. Putting fuel in at that price, when that happens, that does hurt you. 470 litres, $1,000. I've got to pay for it, shed a tear, buy something bad for me like chips or something.
It's time for Steve to pull over for the night and get some much-needed rest. In the morning, he'll start the second leg of his journey to one of the most isolated communities in the world. But before he hits the sack, Steve wants to check his truck. If he's to carry on, he must be sure it's good to go. The faulty valve is still leaking, but under the hood, there's even more bad news. It's his air compressor. Its paintwork is cracked and the washers sealing it have bent out of shape.
I don't know why these are lifting. I might have to make a phone call on this. I have heard the thing where I thought it was a ride height valve, I might actually have a compressor that's playing up here.
His $90,000 engine is barely a few weeks old. Repairs won't be cheap. The fate of his journey and his truck is hanging on one phone call to his mechanic, 2,000 kilometres away.
I'm in Alice Springs. I've got the bonnet up here. They've cracked the paint away in a clear circle around them, and they're bending the lock washers up.
The mechanic wants to see a photo. All Steve can do is wait.
Those compressors are about $6,000 each. Yeah, and it's been vibrating and working and it's cracked the paint. All right, nothing to panic about. Okay, no worries.
After all the dramas, it turns out the problem is down to a simple coat of paint.
He saw that there was a bit of paint missing on top of the compressor, so he gave it just a brush of paint over, and that new paint, with the expansion and contraction of the compressor working, is probably all that's cracked off. My mind has been put at rest for the minute.
While it's a huge weight off Steve's shoulders, he has another problem on his hands: time.
The reason I'm rushing is you can't travel oversized at night, and it takes a good half an hour to get through town, and it's going to be dark shortly.
He's delivering 50 tonnes of building equipment to a crew working in Kiwakura. It's a vital project for the isolated community, and supplies are running low. Steve's delivery is critical.
I want to get out of town by dark, mate, and it's very nearly dark.
Steve's racing the setting sun.
You can only travel daylight oversized. That's why I've been pushing. Got about 600 kilometres of dirt from here up to Kiwakura. Hope to get there just before dark tomorrow night.
But this is just the start of his journey. He and his long-suffering truck face one of the toughest, meanest dirt roads in the country.
It's just hard work. It's good smashing the crap out of the gear. When I woke up this morning, it was raining. I had a bad feeling about this road.
The rain's been coming down all morning.
It doesn't take much to top up these waterholes. This ground's already soft.
It's left the road littered with bogs and potholes. One wheel in the wrong place could land Steve and his 50-tonne load in thick mud. The further he goes, the bigger the bog holes get.
This is the bit that worries me getting out here. This water is from weeks ago.
There's no getting around this monster. All Steve can do is push straight through the heart of the bog. But no sooner is he through the mud than another old enemy rears its head.
Oh, I don't know how big the corrugations are. I just know that they're bloody rough.
Corrugations are ridges in the road surface, like driving over millions of miniature speed bumps.
They're knocking the crap out of me in the gear.
Steve's caught between a rock and a hard place. A building crew is depending on him to reach them before their supplies run out. Push too hard and he could shake his freight to pieces. Every few kilometres, he has to stop and tighten the load.
They don't pay me for dropping the freight out the back, they only pay me for delivering the freight. So I want to keep it on my truck. Started work at 6 o'clock and it's now 9 o'clock and we've got 103 kilometres up, about 450 to go.
Steve's managing barely 30 kilometres per hour, painfully slow. Making matters worse, there's pressure from the customer.
They've run out of work today. They need this load there tonight.
There's just 100 kilometres to go, but the surface goes from bad to worse. Steve's reduced to a snail's pace.
I've got to drop down to first gear and take 3 days to get the last 100 kilometres.
With the road punishing every turn of his tyres, it's looking like a battle even Steve can't win.
I'm now down to 5 kilometres between breaks to keep the freight on.
Steve Graham limps into Kiwakura.
It's all about getting it here, isn't it? If you don't get it here, you don't make a living.
Despite the battering, he's on time and the freight has survived the journey. But his work isn't done yet. Steve needs to make sure the freight comes off his truck safely. It's a straightforward job, or it should be.
Don't go down. Don't go down. Go up. Keep it where it was. Go maximum up, mate. Everything up. Everything up. Righto, go back gently. Stop your bucket. Stop moving the... You! Watch me. Go back. Just hold it there. Whoa, tell him not to go on that mesh. Whoa! Eyes, you're not watching me. Oi, eyes. Down and back. Oh, why won't he listen? Jesus Christ! Oh my God, what's he doing to those screens?
After working hard to get the load here in one piece, it's too much for Steve. And as the saying goes, if you want the job done right, his customer has asked him to help rescue some building sand from a tipper left behind by another trucker.
What we got in here is 24 tonne of premix, and it's been sitting in the rain for 2 weeks. I don't know what weight of water has soaked into the premix. It could be as much as 40 tonne in there now.
It's vital. Without it, building work can't be completed. To unload, Steve needs to give the tipper hydraulic power. He needs to swap the tipper's front trailer for his prime mover. But without knowing how much weight's on board, it's a dangerous procedure.
I have to unhook it, and I don't want to unhook it. I don't like unhooking loaded tippers at the best of times, and I certainly don't like unhooking this one.
Steve's main concern are the tipper's legs. They'll have to take the full weight.
There's a shitload of weight there. No one likes unhooking tippers when they're loaded. You just don't like them because the legs are so far back.
No one's sure if they'll hold.
I don't want the thing to either go through the concrete or collapse the legs. That's what my worry is.
If there's any sign the legs are about to collapse, Steve needs to know instantly.
Stay totally focused. Listen for any creaks and groans.
With the trailer attached to his prime mover, Steve pushes forward. If the legs give way, the whole tipper could come crashing down. Steve Graham has successfully hooked his prime mover up to a stranded tipper. Now he has a new problem. This tipper won't tip. Its hydraulics are dead. Steve's left with only one choice: to force its door open without damaging it.
Just gently try and pull it. I don't know which side. I might have to crack the other side yet. Just give it a little feel. Gently, come underneath it. Quick, quick, quick. Jesus, you're slow.
The door may be open, but now Steve has 24 tonnes of premix to shift and just 2 shovels to do it.
You can't get your hydraulics to work. You've got to get the shit out somehow, because you don't get paid if you don't deliver.
Finally, everything's unloaded and a vital housing project can be completed.